just as we experience dissonance, we're hearing so many contradictory points of view, we're looking at such a diverse range, and we're not seeing the children of the Brady Bunch, of Leave It to Beaver, of that 70s show. So you saw the diversity of that background, and some of that is leading to a number of choices that they have, as well as the fact that the world has changed so rapidly that they're seeing so many choices as well. So they're experiencing that dissonance as well. They have this kaleidoscope of options and opinions, and a lot of them say that they're taking a lot of time to figure out what to do and who to be. They want to get it right. But we heard a lot of different points of view here. We're taking the time because we want to.
My parents felt that it was necessary for them to get married and have children. I don't feel like that's necessary in my life.
I think our parents' generation had more of a goal that they were going for one thing and one thing only. I think our generation's kind of lost in where they want to go necessarily, and they're pulled in so many different directions that they can't make a decision on what they want to do.
They say 40s, the new 30s. Well, I think 20s might be the new teens, and in that way, maybe we are spoiled in the fact that we are taking a lot of time, but also we're very driven about wanting to find exactly the right thing.
I see why it takes people longer to figure out who they are and what they want to do and who they want to be, because, the options are endless.
So what we're showing here is more of a unified construct. The larger study takes into account more of the varied points of view, but we don't have the time for that, and also I think we would achieve a good amount of dissonance in 45 minutes versus bringing something forward here. So one of the things we looked at for them is the definition of success. Amongst a small number of them, they stated that success is very simply being financially secure. They want to achieve financial security for themselves and for the next generation. But with a caveat, they don't want to follow the path of their parents and grandparents who put career and work obligations first at the expense of life experiences. We heard a lot of success of making a difference. Now, making a difference didn't necessarily need to be on a global scale or a national scale. Some said, I just want to make a difference in a person's life, and that was key to success.
Life to be better because of me. I would do something important.
Achieving a sense of a purpose of, having something that I do well, that makes me happy, and that makes a difference.
I think for me, success is a life of balance, because obviously to be successful financially, you are going to have to work hard, and if you only work hard, then I don't think you're successful, because I don't think you're successful in life unless you have relationships, take time for yourself, stay connected with friends and family. So for me, a successful life would be a way to attain all of those things.
But actually what we saw is that in many ways, student loans are the original sin of debt and finance. These young men and women are entering the world starting out with $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 in debt. And this is shaping a lot of the decisions they're making. So they're not saying, I'm just not going to work at all. They realize that they have to make a living. Most of them were saying that they were striving to pay down their loans. A few, not so much. Mostly they said that they try not to stress out about it more than necessary, but it's also shaping some of their financial behavior. They're open to taking stipends. They're open to using some of those loans to live for their personal lives. And as they enter into their adult lives, they mostly voiced an aversion to accumulating credit card debt. Some got themselves into credit card debt during their college years or witnessed family members or friends who struggled with credit card debt, but they were driving towards a debit card behavior on a regular basis. And those who weren't using debit cards on a regular basis were talking about keeping a zero balance as often as possible. And again, although they strive for financial success, they said, I'm never going to be able to top mom and dad. And that uncertain future shapes a lot of their decisions. They're not going to be as well off as their parents. Well, maybe they shouldn't focus on wealth as the primary goal. And this is part of what's shaping that focus on experience. And part of what's shaping, one person said, I don't want to grow up to be an unemployed Wall Street trader. That was not their life goal. So since they saw that as being part of the landscape, instead, they were changing the direction and looking at something where, okay, my families have shaped me with values. How can I reflect those values in ways other than wealth?
And his mom still bakes some cookies and sends him cookies on a regular basis.
Whenever I have no money, my parents will always help me. I don't want to just keep going like, oh, can I have money? But they don't give me a hard time about it.
We do live in his mother's house. She wanted us to have a backyard and whatever for our son, and so it was really nice.
I am still dependent on my parents. It's really embarrassing. I could take out more loans, but my parents were kind enough to say, no, we will take care of something so that I wouldn't have to borrow as much. And
even it is embarrassing, but I'm very thankful.
It's almost like they kind of want to just give us all they possibly can before we actually have to kind of hit the real world. You would want to be able to give your kids more than what you had, just as well as what you had or more. And when you had things as well as I did growing up, it's kind of hard. I went to probably the most expensive private school in this town, and I sure can't pay for that for my kids.
Really what it comes down to, I think, is our parents have a lot of wealth compared to other generations. They pass a lot of that on to us.
But I don't think I'll ever earn more than they do, even on like the retirement checks.
It's where they share those slideshows of their experiences. It's where they post their feelings. It's where they discuss what's up with their lives. And it's also how they provide cheat sheets for their friends so their friends know what to talk to them about. So a number of them said, yeah, it's a lot easier to connect with my friends now. I know what they're doing, I know what they like, and I can start a conversation.
Everyone in our generation wants to carve out their little niche within that. I think, using Facebook is a way to remind yourself, okay, this is who I am. These are the kind of things that I like. These are the things that I do. Here's why I'm different or similar to other people. I think it's bred a lot of narcissism within our generation. Everyone assumes that everyone else is interested in what you're doing right now, and what your interests are, and what your favorite movie is, and everything. And I think that's new. I don't think that's something we've seen in the past.
Nothing's a secret. Everything's on Facebook. Like when I was like, oh, you're in a relationship now? Like, I saw that on Facebook.
I've heard people have all their information out there, engaged to this person or in a relationship with this person. Like that stuff changes every 2 weeks.
I feel like our generation has a need to be accepted and to be a part of something bigger than themselves is the right way to say it, but a part of a group, and to have that sort of affirmation from others more than ever before.
We've created technology to get in contact with people, but in that creating technology to get in contact with people, we distance ourselves. It's weird.
Yeah.
Someone becomes more accessible, but they're still not as close to you.